Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between and beyond, welcome to the episode 10 of Campton Zoo, in which we're starting probably the biggest project in the whole series, which is a huge modern dome/hall with indoor area with a tropical ecosystem housing a couple of exotic animals. So to finish this whole thing, we're going to need to spend a few episodes starting with this one. But before I start telling you all about it, I want to thank you all for all of the support, both for the series and the channel in general. As I said before, I wanted episode 10 to be quite special, and if we will be able to reach specific milestone, it will be a great opportunity to start building something real big. And we actually hit several of them already. Literally last week I thanked you for 100 subscribers and 1000 views on a single video, and now as this episode is being published, we're at 200 plus subs, and there are 4 episodes with 1000 plus views. And 2 of them almost had 2000 views, so that's wild. I don't know how you guys do that, but thank you. I honestly didn't expect people to enjoy my content so much, so I'm really happy so many of you decided to subscribe and watch more. Thank you again for all of the support, and I guess all that's left is to keep it going, so let's go back to the video. So as you can see, the whole project is going to take quite a lot of space, and to be honest, I was kind of worried to try doing that big of a structure in this game, but actually a lot of European zoos have these kinds of massive buildings that house animals from extreme environments like tropical, desert or Arctic areas, which you wouldn't be able to just have in Europe in an outdoor habitat for the entire year without causing any health problems to the animals. So for example, something similar can be found in the zoo in Zurich, Switzerland, Paris, France or Wrocław, Poland. And I'm not taking the inspiration from any specific one of them, but more from just the idea itself, since they're all pretty similar on the outside. And to be honest, there's not much to talk about when it comes to the shape or overall outdoor part, since it's all pretty much just copy and paste. I decided to make it so the guests can enter through one spot and exit through another, which is usually the case for these kinds of buildings. The entrance itself is quite small, since there's really no reason to make it big, so I just put an info booth, vending machines and toilets in there, and from there you can either enter the tropical part through the double door or take an elevator to the second floor, so that people who cannot use stairs can access higher parts of the building. So as always, making sure that the zoo is fully accessible for everyone. So today we're only gonna add a single habitat, and at first I wanted it to house hippos, but the enclosure ended up being too small and they wouldn't be able to do much, so I just changed it to Pygmy Hippos. And since we've just had a new DLC released, now they can share a habitat with the Red River Hogs, so I decided why not just have them share the same space, since one of them will spend a lot of time in water and the other ones will mostly stay on land, so they shouldn't have to worry about having enough space. Let me know what you guys think of the new DLC. I've seen people are complaining it's pretty much a DLC of reskins, but I don't know, to be honest. The more animals there are in the game, the more likely it is that the animals they add look similar to the ones we already have. That's obvious, and to be honest, we now have foxes, gibbons and sloths, which we haven't had yet. The only ones that are similar to what we've already had are the Red River Hogs and Asian water monitors, so I'm not sure why people complain so much. I guess it's just the fact that people expected a different pack to be added, so they just find something to complain about. I don't know. Personally, I like the pack. The plants are great. I've already used some in this build. I'm not a big fan of themed pieces to build with, like the Mayan temple stuff, since I don't really build anything I could use these pieces for, but it's good to have them available. There are people who will build great things with them for sure, so overall I think it's a good pack. I'm glad we pretty much got all habitat animals besides the sloth, but you can still access the exhibit. I'm happy we didn't get a pack with mostly exhibit animals, since I'm not a big fan of them in Planet Zoo. I wish the enclosures weren't so huge, because for anacondas and iguanas I get it, but for tiny roaches or dart frogs you can't even see them in there, so I'm glad this time they just went all in and gave us mostly active animals we can see walking around the habitat. But yeah, enough of that. Let me know if you bought the DLC and how you like it. So the habitat is actually inspired by the one for the hippos at the zoo in Wrocław, Poland, which has this cool waterfall feature that is between the guests and the hippos, and you can see them from above or underwater earlier when you enter the building. And since I really like the idea of having two separate paths on different levels, I want to keep the double story thing going on throughout the whole project and use it to have different points of views for habitats we're gonna build here. Since there's not much space for the keepers to enter the habitat, I decided to build them a separate building that will be attached to the whole thing, as if in the past it was used for something else and now they just use it as a staff building and the entrance to one of the habitats. There's not much thought behind it, I just started building different shapes and ended up with what I ended up with. It doesn't really matter since usually these behind scenes buildings are pretty much plain and simple because there's no need for them to be anything more than just practical and useful. So yeah, that's the first episode in which we're creating our tropical hole, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. There are probably several more before we finish this whole build, so let me know what you guys think of it so far. What are your predictions for the next animals to be added in here? Maybe you'll guess it right. Thank you again for all of the support. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!